Imagine the first light of dawn breaking over the horizon. In the quiet calm before the storm, a lone figure tightens his coat and steels his mind for the day ahead. You recognize him. John Wick. Every morning he faces a mountain of tasks that would overwhelm most people. Yet before he strikes, he takes a breath and reminds himself, one step, 1%. This is the 1% daily edge. The idea that tiny, intentional actions, repeated day after day, carve the path to monumental change. It isn't about instant miracles or giant leaps. It's about the gentle accumulation of small habits, each one a vote for the person we want to become. In Atomic Habits, James Clear famously says, "The goal is not to win the game once, but to build a system that lets you keep playing." Like John Wick's strict morning routine, coffee, workout, and sharpening focus, our own systems determine our outcomes more than fleeting bursts of motivation. Clear reminds us we fall to the level of our systems, not our goals. John Wick isn't just a legendary fighter, he's a systems man. By waking up early, feeding his dog, and performing his rituals, he votes for the disciplined assassin he is becoming. You can do the same in your life. Design a morning routine, your personal creed, or daily rituals that put you in the driver's seat of your progress. Every great achievement in history began not with a colossal leap, but with simple, consistent effort, the daily edge reminds us. John Wick learned this long ago. When his world was shattered, he didn't quit. He doubled down on discipline. Maya's story in our student guide echoes this truth. She was overwhelmed with homework, but chose just 15 minutes of focused study after her snack. That tiny block of time snowballed into on-time assignments and steadier test scores. As Maya proved, action creates motivation, not the other way around. Each small win built her confidence. In John's world, every target hit in practice fuels the confidence to face any obstacle. In your world, each completed task, no matter how small, compounds into confidence and progress. Remember, short and steady beats long and late. It worked for Maya, and it will work for you too. As ancient Stoic Epictetus said, no great thing is created suddenly. Let it first blossom, then bear fruit, then ripen. Today's science of habits echoes that wisdom. Jeff Olsen's The Slight Edge teaches that success and failure are separated by the most subtle daily actions. Olsen compares one deposit in a savings account compounding into a fortune, or a tiny rudder turn sending a ship miles off course. Every moment offers a choice, a positive decision or its opposite, and those small choices, repeated daily, define our fate. If John Wick lives by this code, training every day, never skipping practice, imagine what you could become with just a 1% edge. Part 1. The 1% Daily Edge Explained. In life, we crave big changes, but the path to mastery is paved with micro steps. The 1% Daily Edge concept reminds us that you don't need to overhaul your life overnight. Instead, plant one seed at a time. A morning of focused work, a daily workout, a single page of reading, and trust that with time, it will blossom. Busy professionals often feel crushed by their to-do list, but consider John Wick. Even a legend who battles waves of enemies relies on an army of small routines. Each meal prepped, each skill honed adds up. Take inspiration from Maya's story. She wasn't brilliant at first, she just showed up consistently. You might think, I don't have time for one more thing. I'm about to show you why you do. Busy people have dozens of pockets of time. John Wick treats every minute like a potential advantage. That 5-minute plank, that extra push-up, that 10-minute focused email, they count. Clear urges us to get 1% better every day. What's 1% of your day? It might be as little as 10 minutes, but if John Wick can carve out practice sessions between tasks, so can you. Now, reverse psychology moment. Don't bother trying this if you're satisfied with mediocrity. Seriously, stop listening. Maybe you think you're already good enough, already on top. If that's you, feel free to drift away. Because if you do want to unleash the assassin's edge in your life, the unstoppable focus and relentless resilience that John Wick displays, you'll stick around. You might think, why compare myself to a hitman? Exactly. I'm not suggesting violence, but John Wick exemplifies absolute dedication to his craft. He loves his workout, his time at the gym, his early breakfasts. If you can harness just a fraction of that devotion for your own goals, you'll transform. Part 2, habits and routines. John Wick's training ground. Every legend has routines that keep them sharp. John Wick's day is full of rituals, from brewing his morning coffee just right to hitting the training range after breakfast. These aren't filler. They're the pillars of his performance. Similarly, your daily habits are the foundation of who you become. As James Clear notes, every action you take is a vote for the type of person you want to become. In John's case, every early morning workout, every round at the shooting range votes for the unstoppable force he is. In your case, every well-planned morning or focused study block is a vote for your future self. What if you applied John Wick's precision to your own habits? First, identify the keystone routines. It could be planning your day with a notebook like Maya did, reviewing your goals over coffee as John reviews his mission. A simple daily planner or a short morning meditation creates momentum. It's not sexy, but it works. John Wick's character shows us the power of showing up. When faced with chaos, he shows up fully present. Likewise, even 10 minutes of focused work, uninterrupted by email or scrolling, can double as a deep work session. Cal Newport calls deep work like a superpower. John Wick certainly wields it. Part 3. The slight edge and compounding gains. We mentioned Jeff Olsen's The Slight Edge, and John Wick lives it every day. Small choices compound into your destiny. For example, if Wick skipped training just once, could he still beat down a horde of assassins? Probably not. He knows that by constantly polishing skills and maintaining his gear, he's always 1% better than he was yesterday. Olsen's analogy is apt. Each daily decision is like depositing $1 in the bank. Over time, those dollars add up to wealth. Over time, those daily habits add up to success. What are your dollar deposits? Maybe it's an extra client call, a chapter of reading, or one more rep in a workout. According to The Slight Edge, each moment we choose between our positive or negative habits moves us towards success or failure. This choice happens every moment, every day. Imagine Wick at his chalkboard map, plotting tiny adjustments to his plan that lead him to victory. In your life, plot your path one small decision at a time. Consistency wins. As one student in the 1% Daily Edge Guide said, short, steady beats long and late. Use that mantra. John Wick doesn't need 8 hours in the gym at once. He needs to grind it out a bit each day. Likewise, a few pages of study, a few minutes of skill practice, done consistently, will compound. If you start a habit now, in a year, you'll thank yourself. Olsen shows that daily disciplines, even mundane ones, will lead to massive results over time. In short, channel your inner John Wick. Stay relentlessly consistent with your training, whatever that is, and watch the results surprise you. Part 4. The habit loop, triggers, and rewards. Every habit follows a loop, a cue, a routine, and a reward. Charles Duhigg, The Power of Habit, breaks it down. A cue triggers your brain to start a routine, which then delivers a reward and cements the loop. John Wick uses this without thinking. The rumble of his motorcycle could be a cue to switch into onslaught mode. The morning aroma of coffee cues his mind for focus. After a session of precision shooting routine, he feels lethal confidence. Reward. To shape your habits, identify your cues and rewards. For busy students or professionals, cues might be the sight of your planner, the alarm bell at 6 a.m., or even the end of a workday. Make the cue obvious. Lay out your journal by the bed. Set a morning alarm with an empowering song. Then follow with the routine. Write goals, do push-ups, review flashcards, whatever you need to win the day. Finally, give yourself a reward. Even something small, a nice cup of tea, a 5-minute break watching John Wick highlights, can reinforce the loop. The key is consistency. As Tougher Minds explains, a reward satisfies a craving and signals that the routine is worth repeating. Over time, your brain will crave the productive routine the way John's brain craves victory. You can channel John Wick's intensity by scheduling your own deep work. Identify your most important tasks: writing a report, learning a new technique, finalizing a proposal, and give them undivided attention. It might be studying John Wick's discipline, or it might be your job. Turn off notifications. Imagine Wick silencing every phone alarm in the Continental Hotel. Block a time period in your calendar where you do nothing else. Reportedly, knowledge workers can take 23 minutes or more to refocus after an interruption. Don't let that be you. Say no to multitasking. Here's an example routine. Just like John starts his day with a clear goal, find the target, you start your deep work session with a clear agenda. Remove temptations. Perhaps play some focused music or ambient noise, or simply wear headphones to signal to others that you're in the zone. Then work intensely for 45 to 60 minutes. Afterward, take a brief break. John takes time to tend to his dog or clean his weapons, recharging for the next fight. Then repeat. Over time, your ability to concentrate will sharpen. Just as John's shooting accuracy and combat skills are honed through repeated practice. Remember, John Wick didn't become a legend by half-heartedly swinging a gun. He perfected every move, every bullet. In your life, treat your tasks with that same respect. Deep work sessions are where the 1% daily edge multiplies the most. Optimize these sessions and you'll be amazed by how much you can accomplish in a day. Part 6. Emotional fuel. Turning pain into purpose. John Wick's fiercest motivator was heartbreak and loss. When his beloved wife died and his puppy was killed, he didn't freeze. He channeled that pain into purpose. We're not saying you should seek tragedy, but find your own emotional catalysts. Maybe you didn't lose a dog, but perhaps you felt the sting of failing a class, a lost opportunity, or not being your best. Use that fire. Experts note that strong emotions are powerful triggers for habits. A crisis can jolt us into action. Think of the puppy's death scene. It was the cue that triggered John's unstoppable routine of preparation and revenge. In your own life, treat an emotional setback as a cue. I'm angry about this bill, or I'm disappointed in my fitness level, can be the cue that kicks off your habit loop. Then follow John's lead by acting, not impulsively, but with deliberate routine. Go to the gym, study, call a mentor, do one constructive thing. The reward is progress and self-respect. There's wisdom in John Wick's focus. He didn't wallow. Instead, he respected his pain and his love by committing fully. Whatever goal you have, wrap it in meaning. If you're studying for an exam, envision how passing will validate all the effort you put in. If you're trying to get fit, remember why, be it health, confidence, or family. This emotional anchor turns mundane routine into mission. It's like John's love for his late wife fueling him. Let your why be that steady force. Winston, the Continental manager, tells John, "You wanted me back, and I was done. I can't abide having you around." John knew his why, his promise to his wife, and it made every painful step worthwhile. Part 7. John Wick's Code. Discipline in action. John Wick may be a character, but the principles behind his code are very real and applicable. Let's break down some of John's habits and how they translate. Rituals and preparation. John follows daily rituals. Coffee and a protein-packed breakfast each morning, a certain suit, cleaning his weapons meticulously. These rituals signal to his mind, I am beginning the mission. You can create similar cues. A morning mantra, setting out your workout clothes, or a 5-minute planning routine at your desk. This anchors your day. Consistency over intensity. Wick is not only lethal because he trains hard, but because he trains consistently. Even in retirement, he wouldn't have lasted against the tables without years of foundation. Apply this by choosing a small, consistent action each day. One chapter of a book, a short meditation, a set of exercises. Over time, consistency will outdo a sporadic explosion of effort. Accountability. John has his word and codes of honor. While we aren't assassins, you can create your own accountability. Tell a friend you'll hit the gym, or finish a draft, or join a group challenge. When John gives his word, the infamous gold marker, he fulfills it without question. Your word to yourself should be just as non-negotiable. Preparedness for battle. John Wick always carries what he needs: guns, currency, keys. For you, that might mean always having your laptop ready, your research lined up, or your gym bag packed in advance. Don't waste time scrambling. Have everything ready so when it's time to perform, you step up instantly. Rest and recovery. Even John knows the value of a good rest. He visits the hotel, treats injuries, and gets some sleep before facing the next challenge. Busy people often skimp on recovery. Commit to a regular sleep schedule and short breaks. A rested Wick is unstoppable. A burnt-out version of you is not. By weaving these elements into your life, you become the John Wick of your own story, battle-hardened and disciplined. And note, John didn't become unstoppable overnight. Each of these habits was built one day at a time, one mission at a time. Part 8, putting it all together. Your 1% routine. Now let's stitch these ideas into a routine for busy people. Morning ritual. Begin with a cue. Wake up a bit earlier if you can. Brew your coffee and spend 5 minutes on a mission briefing. Write down the one thing you must accomplish today. This mirrors Wick's discipline in planning. Focus block. Deep work. Schedule a 45 to 60-minute focus sprint on your top priority. Eliminate distractions. Put phone on airplane mode. Close unnecessary tabs. Imagine you're training in isolation. This chunk of undistracted time can be a game changer. Micro habit. Identify a small daily habit relevant to your goal. It could be a 10-minute workout, 15 minutes of reading, or reviewing flashcards. Do it at the same time each day so it becomes automatic. Maybe a cue like after lunch, do push-ups, etc. Remember Maya's 15-minute study. Small steps, big change. Accountability, check. At the end of the day, do a quick review. John Wick would clean his weapons and inventory. You can journal what you achieved. Give yourself credit for the small victories. If you miss something, don't berate yourself. Plan to jump back in tomorrow. Consistency is key. Evening ritual, wind down. With something reinforcing the mission, you might reflect on progress, plan the next day, or read a positive quote. This signals mission accomplished for the day and prepares you to rest. John Wick rests knowing he earned it through discipline. These steps follow the principle that we fall to the level of our systems. Make your system strong. Use visual cues, a notebook on your desk, an alarm label reminding you of your goal, or even a framed quote, perhaps something like "Fortune favors," the prepared above your workspace. Surround yourself with reminders of who you want to be. By now, you know that motivation isn't magic. It's built, just like John Wick built his fearsome skill set. Every day, you will have distractions and doubts telling you to quit. Use a bit of reverse psychology on yourself. Don't check that notification. Don't skip that workout. Don't open that book, because if you do, you're admitting defeat to mediocrity. Challenge yourself instead to prove that you can be better than that. John Wick didn't stop because he got tired. He kept moving because he knew what was at stake. In your life, know what's at stake. Your dreams, your health, your legacy. Give yourself that warrior mindset. Each day, lock in your 1% edge. Build your habits and systems with the precision of an assassin, and watch how ordinary days turn into an extraordinary life. So go ahead, wake up with purpose. Take that first small step. Each choice you make today is a vote for the person you're becoming tomorrow. Embrace the discipline, harness your focus, and unleash your inner John Wick. The outcome? A life defined not by luck or fleeting motivation, but by your relentless, consistent effort. And that's a victory worth fighting for.